good evening, afternoon, and or morning, depending upon time zone. Ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between and beyond that binary of the internet, welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay. More specifically, welcome to the conclusion of the Screaming Stars incident, our slightly delayed Halloween two-shot. This is a tale of dark cosmic horror, creeping psychic anomaly, and camaraderie at the end of it all. I have with me the crew of the Sly Fox, who, after a strange incident in warp travel, have seen themselves now exit, board a station, discover some incredibly strange anomalies, and now find themselves facing a massive barge-like ship, almost half stuck in reality, with the void all colors and screams around them. Safety tools are in place for our players, but are not in place for you, the audience. So if at any point in time you feel yourselves uncomfortable, please feel free to exit the broadcast at any point in time. I'd like our players to introduce themselves one at a time in the order that I call them. Let us know who you are and who you're playing tonight. Dan, whenever you're ready.
Hi, I'm Lan the Dan, and I hope that you remember to do your Halloween candy shopping today. I'll be playing our intrepid outlaw and ship's pilot, Hal Owens.
Moving on from Hal, take it away, Spree.
Hello, I am Spree. Today I'll be playing Tesvarat, the, meat-headed warrior of the group.
The 7-foot fox.
7 foot tall fox woman, and
Can
yeah.
change that?
Moving right on from Tess. Michelle, whenever you're ready.
Hey, I'm Michelle. I will be playing Loon Hart, our psychic who has a lot more magic than sense.
Who needs sense when you have magic? Moving on from Loon and finishing off our crew. Take it away, Tate.
Hello, Internet. My name is Tate Washburn, and I will be playing Kirpus Deferned, the cyborg engineer who usually knows what's going on and is maybe a little upset when he doesn't.
Well, it's wonderful to meet our crew, and I hope that the coming adventure sees you all make it out to the end. Lastly, of course, I am Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, also known as your current and only favorite fox. I am your game maestro for the duration of the stream. I'll be playing everyone and everything that is not these four. Where we last left off, you all barely made it past the airlock doors of the station, escaping the shrieking psychic horrors you were assailed by, and only barely making it alive, not all of you unscathed. You reboard the Sly Fox. Devi alerts you to the strange ship hovering above you in space, which you're pretty certain wasn't there before. Also to note of import, Tess, you are currently carrying a PDA, which you all found held in the hand of a man who seemed to have shot himself in the face and was pretty happy about doing it. So as you all lick your wounds, recover from the traumas you have seen, and face the horror in the void above you, I will leave the scene to you.
What the
Get the
hell
number of that
is
truck that hit me.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Devi, when did that show up? Kirp says, pointing upward.
About when you guys started fighting those things.
Any idea what it is?
Hey.
You hear kind of a brief rush as the ship's sensors pulse out. It's a ship, I think. Looks void capable, but I'm not getting an ident tag. It's old.
Well, I guess the more prescient question is, how's it doing that, the whole thing where it's halfway out of space? DM has a question about like the technology and how this works.
Mm-hmm.
When we're going through hyperspace through the void, is like the ship visible partially, or does it like sort of vanish from real space?
It normally appears as if the ship very, very thinly stretches itself out to a point of near infinity and then snaps together as it disappears. It usually looks like it kind of just warps away. It's not, you usually don't see it.
Yeah, so that's definitely not how it's supposed to look.
Yeah, at all, which is why Debbie's response doesn't really shock you at all. Honestly, boss, I don't know. We understand slip space travel, well, very little, in all honesty. Anomalies aren't uncommon, but, well, this ranks pretty high on the anomalous.
Yeah.
Let's look at this another way. Devi,
Yeah.
can you find any record of ships mysteriously disappearing?
Kerp is gonna laugh out loud like.
You want to be more specific, boss?
Ships disappearing mid-jump.
I'll take a peek.
Closer. DM, can I maybe use some tech to figure out like the era this old ship is from?
Oh, you
to narrow that down a little more?
absolutely can do that thing you just said you want to do.
Tess.
Yeah.
Oh.
What is it?
The PDA. Did you grab it?
Oh, I get to re-roll
shiny
one.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
Who wants it?
I'll take it.
I don't tech.
Well, that gets it to an 8. Kerp just absentmindedly reaches his hand out for the PDA as he's looking at this thing.
So, Kerp, as you're looking up at the ship, trying to get a sense of the tech, you're first looking for the tradition. You're looking at this big blocky structure, and you're first trying to think of the, the traditional, relatively simple geometric designs that the Galactic Imperium tends to use for standard ships.
Mm-hmm.
They're simplistic, but artsy in themselves. This, no. This is too old for that. This is way too old for that. You can't even place how old this ship looks. It's
Like, oh, sorry.
it's human. That's maybe the best guess you could place.
I'd say older than where I understand jump drive technology was invented. Like this could have been a prototype, if it's older than that, or I don't know the scale of like how long ago jump technology was made.
Definitely before the mainline jump technology people use was invented. How old? You're no one's guess from this far away. Now that PDA,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, real quick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Kerp would just, as he's finally going to look at the PDA, it's like, I can't place that thing. But, let's say old as shit, and definitely not just regular Imperium make, so... Honestly, no idea from out here. I might get a better idea if we got closer. I just don't know if that's a good idea. And Kerp is gonna move on to this PDA.
It's a pretty simple personal device. It's got all your usual stuff: music, web pages stored, pictures, all kinds of stuff. And it's not. There's no crazy security on it. It's not hard for you to get right through it. The last thing saved on it, and it's pretty easy to tell because they're kind of like right at the top of its data stack. There are a couple video entries, and there's some stuff in between them because they're spaced apart, obviously, by weeks or months or so. In fact, this guy has a lot of these videos stored. You think he might have kept a pretty semi-regular video diary of his thoughts. But there's definitely a bigger frequency in the entries right up until the end. They're easy to open if you want to take a look at any of them.
Yeah, is there a way I could just filter them, look at thumbnails to just do the ones that are mostly looking at him? And then all the recent ones, of course, but
You could sort of, kind of, but Debbie could sort of better. Sorry, go ahead, Lou.
Oh, Lou's just like, so when are these from today? When were these taken?
Oh, he's got some of these over months. Just looking at duration and frequency, I'll bet. Video journal? I don't know, maybe he was vlogging or something. Although I doubt recently, because generally I think that there would have been a story if someone started acting real haunted on the net. But
Yeah, so bosses, I broke into that PDA while you were talking, so I hope you didn't mind.
I guess that's fine. Just a little worried about what could be in here, but probably biological, so you're probably safe, whatever happened over there, but don't... Can you make a separate instance to play these on? I don't want any of these to, like, do some sort of weird computer virus thing to you.
Gotcha, no problem.
And then, yeah,
Debbie,
Kurt will throw all of them up.
Mm-hmm. And, like, there's easily, like, a lot of entries, not just from the past few months, maybe from the past couple of years, really. The very, very first one is just this guy looking decently younger than what you remember. He has a lot less stubble or hair than you remember his deformed face having. It just, you know, very, very bright looking. He has that same uniform you saw him, well, dead in. He just says, all right, this is day one of my job working at this old way station. Hopefully it shouldn't be too boring. I'm just going to, you know, do this to keep my thoughts down so I don't, you know, go mad with boredom or whatever. But, you know, so I'll just make these whenever I feel like. And if I get bored, I'll send them to mom or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. And that's the first one. And they play out about once a month from there. Pretty standard. The ones that Devi does instantly focus on are the ones that date from the past couple of months. As those appear like they're, you know, the ones that start increasing in frequency. Devi plays the first one, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for expediency's sake, I think Crip would actually say, for expediency's sake, could we maybe, you watch some of those super fast and then just give us the ones that are anomalous to what, like, normal life on this kind of facility would be?
Got it. Just a moment. And literally no more than like a couple of picoseconds later. Okay, have a
Yeah,
look.
the video when she's an AI.
Mm-hmm. First one that pops up. Okay, so this is not a normal video log entry, he says. It's recent. Maybe within definitely this year, you could tell. The stellar cycle, as you could tell by the look of the guy's face. His uniform's still pretty standard, but he has another pin or two on it, like maybe he's gotten a promotion or so since then. So, I've been watching the logs for a bit, just keeping in mind all the IDs we ping on that are in slip space travel on the way. Something registered. Not with an ID tag though. It was like a ghost ship almost. Like it wasn't real. I'm probably just been looking at the logs too long and watching too many of those old movies. I'm not gonna worry about it, but I figured I'd mark this down because I want to send this to one of those random shock journals. Who knows? Maybe I get a couple credits out of it. Who knows? Whatever. Fast forwards to another one that's maybe a few weeks later. Okay, so this is the third time I've seen it. And from here, I think I'm pretty sure what's happening here. He gestures to a book he pulls up. It's not a data pad. It's literally a book. There's some scribbles on it. He says, right here. 4,742 stellar cycles ago, long before the Imperium was ever even a thing, humanity first started spreading out from its birth planet. These ships weren't made to travel through the void the way we do. It's a lot messier, I guess. I was just looking at these old history records and I found a couple of random, you know, messengers and ledgers from void ships. But there's one. That one ends. It cuts to another one. This one's only a few days later. He looks haggard, a little tired in this one. The Lady Rachel was her name. I remember it was a void ship meant to sail out, gather, you know, and, well, see the void, I suppose. It was not like a cruiser or exploration ship. It was the word they use here is a generation ship. The people who travel first on this ship, they don't get to wherever it goes. This thing kind of slow sails the void so that people who are born on it die, and then their children grow up and take over their posts, and then they die, and so on until generations later the ship lands somewhere and the people who are there colonize that planet. It's think it's how humanity spread. It's weird the Imperium doesn't talk about this at all. Side note, while I'm here, I've been hearing all this weird sounds at night whenever I try to sleep. I've been lowering my sleep cycles just to maybe not worry about it as much, but it's like screaming, like in the walls. It cuts again. Another one. This is weeks later now. Maybe this is like, you know, not deep in, but it's pretty close to maybe the last couple days of entry. I don't know what it is about me, he says, as he rubs rapidly graying hairs. I just can't keep my nose out of shit, dude. I don't. Holy fuck. So generation ships are a really, really old idea. I'm talking about these again. I know. I'm sorry. I don't stop talking about them. People don't even come to the post when I'm here anymore because it's all I talk about anymore. But I can't get the idea in my head. I can't stop thinking about it. So we've been having this idea since we were fucking steel carving primitives. The idea of a ship slow sailing the void until it lands somewhere. We're just so fucking impatient. See, we're supposed to sublight travel. Spend light years traveling the stars in stasis, living and dying on the ship for years and years and centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries and then we land somewhere and it's utopia. The Garden of Eden. Splayed out amidst the curtain of stars for us. But because we tried to ply the void, to shorten that travel just a bit, nobody asked the real simple fucking question. Nobody asked the question. Oh, God. I don't know why I can't stop thinking about this. It's just, it's. There it is again. No. I know. I'm leaving the video on. I know if I leave it on, you'll hear it. Wait. Shut up. Wait. There. You... No? Forget this. And you see him, like, grab the PDA. It cuts. Devi says, I got one more you need to see, boss.
Anyone else hear that?
Tells me. Hear what?
On the PDA journal entry? You guys didn't hear anything?
Look, I might get back to this in a second, but we're standing near a hole in the void, it looks like, and you're psychic. That might not have been the PDA. Play the last one real quick.
Alright. Hold tight, bosses. Last video pops up. It's him. His uniform's dirty. His eyes are bloodshot. His nails are a bit longer and equally dirty. I haven't seen anybody come to the station since it happened. I didn't get trained on security, so I didn't think a firefight would be a thing I'd have to ever deal with. But a bunch of people killing themselves, that's yeah, they don't prep you for that one, boss. Remember that ship? The lady whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. I think that's causing the screaming. And not just the screaming, not just the screaming. I've seen them. Just one or two of them, but I've seen them. The things. I think I know what they are too. You see, I know people don't always buy into the whole idea that when humans die, they go, or when anybody dies, they go into the void. But I think I'm buying into that a little bit more. So I've been wondering. You ever wonder what happens if somebody dies that close to the void? Yeah? What if a million people die that close to the void? What if that's what they are? What if it's just angry? What if we just got too close? Got too curious, and now it's hungry. Now it wants to quiet the noise. That's why they're screaming. That's why they're screaming. They want it only to scream. They only want the screaming. They want it to scream, and they want it to scream and scream until there's nothing to the screaming. They want to quiet everything but the screaming, and then they'll quiet the screaming too, and then there'll be nothing. Just fucking nothing. And the video cuts out.
Ever tell you about some of the horror stories when they first made a void resonance, like a technology? Some of those first experiments. Had an engineering professor, actually, dropped out of school, but had some of these old records of the first time they made one of these crystals resonate with the void. Some of the stuff in there sort of leaked out. Apparently everybody in that room started hallucinating the same thing. They thought it was gas or something, and now we know what it is now. It's the stuff that makes, I guess, you psychic, Lynn. Or something similar. They started hearing things collectively, knowing things that they shouldn't. It didn't end well. We harvested the place souls go to make sure people's groceries in the Imperium arrive on time. Fuck. Yeah, Crip's kind of just like staring out. He's like not really reacting. He's just sort of absorbing this idea.
So,
Well,
Devi,
Yeah, boss?
you said that ship out there is causing all of this screaming?
Yeah. As far as I can read, all those void disturbances we've been registering, the epicenter's, well, it's the middle of that ship.
Any ideas on how we can stop it?
Boss, I am a hyper-intelligent AI designed to help humanity by traveling through the void close to the place where their souls go in the afterlife. No, I have nothing. Best I could say
I think,
is
finish that.
looks like it's someone somewhere in between real space and the void. I don't know how, but maybe we push it one way or the other?
We could blow it up.
Also a thought.
Is the ship relative to our ship?
Do you think we can touch it?
Do you think we can tow it, is what I want to know.
Tow it? No, absolutely not. It's bigger than a Hystera-class battlecruiser, by a magnitude of about 10 or 20. There's no way we could tug that thing if we had 100 of this ship. Touching it, though, well, not from out here.
Yeah,
But, as far as I can tell, the segment we're looking at includes a forward engine block. And this is a small ship compared to that thing. We could theoretically fly inside it.
I'm gonna test something out. Devi, can you access this? And he's gonna pull off like his little drone.
Gotcha.
Like, could we pilot it from here at super long distance?
How far?
Like, I put this into one of our missile slots and we launch this at it and see if it at least can bump into it. For all we know, that thing's half phased in and we just fall right through or something like that. And I don't want to get anywhere near it without knowing what it might do to us.
I can make that work. If I could make one adjustment to the algorithm you're coming up with here. Have Loon psychically shield that drone. For safety precautions, of course.
Sure, but
Hold out little drone to Loon.
is that gonna be a problem with the science-y technobabble thing? What was it? Hypothesis thingy?
It shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm more worried about, we look through this thing's eyes and when it gets close to the ship, because we're looking at the screen, it fries our brains or some shit.
There's a second thing you might have to worry about in that case, boss. If you put your drone in the tube and launch it, it might just get damaged. If we wanted to get this thing to touch it, our best bet's to have Madame Varai get on top of the ship and throw it.
Holds that to test. You want to throw it?
Did someone say yeet?
Yeah, we can yeet it.
So I get to yeet this at the haunted
But
spaceship.
Yeah. I
The
think
li-
Herp is already
Not
grabbing an extra wrench,
like
tying it to it, and be like, "There you go."
I know you always get mad when I'm talking about how space is haunted, but we're talking about how space is literally haunted right now.
Yeah, you
Can-
want to know
can-
why I'm mad when you say that? Because it's not wrong, it's just extremely derivative. We've known that for like hundreds of years now. Saying that is defeatist, and we can't solve this unless we know how things work a little bit. Sorry, that's mean. Just, yeah, space indeed haunted. It's like saying water's wet.
I thought that was still a subject that was under some debate, though.
Stop. Nope. Nope.
All
This
right.
is Hal
I
saying
don't-
this, not
So
Dan.
give me the plan one more time. Just I'm taking this.
Wait,
It's like, okay,
wait.
so
I got a
drone
shield.
has camera. Camera comes to ship, so we need to get the camera to the ship that's punching a hole in the side of the universe. And it's more likely to survive if you... And then makes throwing motion. I was in chess club in school. I can't huck it. Come on.
All right. Let me know when it's ready.
Okay.
Hands it to Luna now that it's wrapped to some kind of wrench or tool that's about the right weight to be good at throwing, because the drone is quite small and spindly normally.
Alright, well, hold tight. I'll get you all close enough, and you can feel the ship begin to rumble a bit as Devi slowly begins to power it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be prepared to back up real fast if we get an invite from our very scary friends.
So the ship slowly begins to roar itself to life. And it takes off into the deep void. The colors around still slightly distorted by the haze of non-color and screaming faces all around you. You avert your eyes from it when you can, but it's hard to avoid it too much. It's almost as if your mind is slowly beginning to adjust to the madness of it all. But as you twist and ply your way through the void, you slowly see in front of you the figure of the Lady Rachel begin to rise. Its matte brown hull splayed out in front of you. And the closer you get, you slowly begin to realize just how massive this ship is as it fills up just about the entirety of the Sly Fox's forward cockpit visor. It's like a city in space. And you're only looking at half of it, if even that.
GM, I'd like to just ask, because I think Kerp has his, like, PDA out, and he's just his data pad, trying to, like, write down theories. Would he know, like, normally how these crystals work? It seems like it should be impossible to run into the side of a universe. But that kind of was what this looks like. I don't know if I roll something to maybe get a better idea of, like, alright, what, in theory, if anything, could do this shit?
Why don't you go ahead and roll the dice, and I'm gonna ask Loon to do the same. Both of you may add your intelligence.
Yeah. Would this be a science thing, so I can re-roll a d6?
Sure.
Or is this sort of outside that? Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh,
no.
Wait.
How did? Oh, okay.
Oh no! Oh no! The double ones! Yikes! Well, that's
No, I got a 10.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so
Oh,
yeah,
she got double ones. All right. Whoops.
Okay, all right. So, Kerp, good old Kerpus. As you're thinking, like, okay, theoretically, it looks like this is slid halfway into the universe. This theoretically shouldn't be what happened. What exactly is going on here? It's, well, you recognize it, and at first you're just like, this doesn't make sense. How is this ship lodged halfway into our universe? That shouldn't be theoretically possible. And as you're looking at it more, that's when you realize it's not. It's moving still. The ship is sliding into and out of reality.
Huh. So maybe this is what happens with every ship. It just never stays open remotely this long. Huh. Yeah, Kerp's just writing down notes on this. He's possibly preparing to send like a data packet out before they get too close, just in case, you know, this is the last that they ever heard of the Sly Fox. Got some science buddies that might understand a bunch of the numbers and things that he sends out.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we trapped in with these ghosties, or are they trapped in with us?
Pretty sure, at this moment, they are trapped in here with us. Unless we accidentally slid into the void without me noticing. You should probably get ready, you and Tess. I think you should be out there with Tess in case, you know, psychic bullshit happens.
Yeah. And
Sounds
Luna'll
good.
pick up her big ass staff and just kind of hobble a little bit.
All right then.
I have an odd question. What's that staff made out of, and how does it survive in the vacuum of space?
It's like
Magic.
It could be petrified wood. I'm not here to say you're wrong. I'm just curious.
it's like mostly wood, like this really gnarly piece of wood. So like the end's like really pointy and like the top is like basically a club, and it's like very intricately carved with like, it's kind of inset with, well, different metals, so it looks really fancy. But as Loon may or may not have told you, it doesn't really do anything. It's mostly just for hitting people with.
Well, there you go.
Strong wizard aesthetic.
In any case,
Just implies to me they have a
Right.
way of preparing wood that it doesn't immediately shatter in the void. But anyways,
as Tess and Loon make their way to the upper hatch of the canopy to be let out to the upper hull of the Sly Fox, the mag boots of your suit activate and clamp you down, so you're pretty certain you won't just get randomly thrown off by a cosmic burst of wind or something like that. Unless something horrible happens.
Like you roll a 1 on your intelligence roll.
So Tess, you're setting up, looking at this ship that you can tell is still slightly moving, but the scale of it is so massive that it's almost impossible for you to miss. And you're winding on up. And Loon, you are watching on standby. Tess, go ahead and roll the dice. You may add your strength.
All right, let's give this a nice little bit of yeet.
This bitch getting yeeted. Yeah, you watch as with a bit of force to as almost like that her mag boots slide back a bit. She just hucks this thing, and you see it cannon forward, almost as if the torpedo tube did shoot it. Honestly, just missing like the flaming trail or something, but it goes rocketing, end over end, spiraling incredibly fast towards this the ship. And you're all watching, those of you both outside and inside, waiting to see, like, okay, is it like a touch the ship and you evaporate into the void? Is this a, can you slide right through this? Is this like a will cause some strange disturbance when you touch this? And you're all watching with bated breath, waiting for something to happen. Just until, pink, it hits the side of the ship, it starts to ricochet back off into space.
yeah, if I have control of it, I'm gonna detach and at least try and find a door or a thing that we can land our ship near. Some kind of point of entry.
So the goal is not to take the ship in. You want to go in yourself.
Well, just where do we land the ship? What can we get close to?
So okay,
Recon.
so I'll tell you easily as you I'll realign the camera curve, and I'll notice it. So you're looking, and there's a couple options here. One, on the side of this massive bulkhead, your ship just bonked, or your drone just bonked into, courtesy of Tess's throw. There is a small emergency airlock. You sense it's like a service door that is pseudo jammed and appears to be like ratcheted a bit open. Possibly not big enough to fit a person through, but you're sure someone strong enough could probably rip it apart or psychic it apart or something. But as you're
very heavy hitters,
remembering to take in the sense of scale here, you're backing the drone up a bit to be like, okay, well, where does this what actually is this bulkhead attached to? As you're backing the drone up, you recognize it's an engine block, and there's a trio of like nacelle lock engines that are so massive in scale that you could fit the Sly Fox through one of the ion turbine, like one of the ion turbine fans, none of which are spinning right now. They're all dead. So you have a choice as a crew. You could maglock the ship to the side of it and take the emergency bulkhead in, or the emergency airlock in, if you want to go by yourselves, or you could fly the Star Fox in. Star Fox. I said Star Fox. Oh fuck.
Sly Fox.
The Sly Fox.
The Sly Wing.
A fox in the stars. That's silly.
So yeah, we'll assume for the sake of brevity that Kurt communicates that information to you all, and I'll now leave the choice up with the group as Tess and Loon come back inside, with no more need to remain out in the void unless you want to.
No, I wouldn't if I were you, but I'm not the boss. I have like one more question before we really dig into the scene.
Hit me.
Does Kurt think he could like turn the engines on by just flying inside there and like fucking with something?
I mean,
inside of the engines, or was this gonna require like something a little more at a command post type of deal?
I hate to be so restrictive, but I feel like you honestly probably wouldn't know, just given how old the ship is. I mean, you could assume there's probably some safety somewhere in the engine block to maybe switch them on for an emergency. So you're maybe certain you could probably do it, but you don't know where that would be, if it's even in the part of the engine block that's in real space. But it's certainly a possibility, and you wager any smart ship engineer would include something like that. Ships like this would have plenty of fail-safes.
Yeah, so like if this was a modern version of this engine, there'd probably be something like that somewhere.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
What you're saying.
Especially a ship this large, no question. The question becomes, because again, each of these engine blocks is probably about, I'd say, 12 to 15 stories, like, tall, and maybe about half that wide. You're not certain where in this huge engine block you could find that switch. But it's probably there somewhere, maybe.
Yeah. Alright, so sort of entering the scene, Kirk's like, okay. So, I'm not a fan of the idea of blowing it up, if only for the case of no idea what that would do.
Oh, fireworks would be pretty.
I'm not saying we're not gonna. I'm just saying that it might be better to try and, I don't know, push it back in with its own engines. And maybe, possibly, I hope, we wouldn't have to go in the ship. We can kind of like just fly inside the engine block and find a button or something. And I don't know, I could rig something up, maybe, to pull a switch, press a button, start the turbines. Possibly. But I'm open up to thoughts on how dangerous that might be. I really don't have a lot of answers here, guys, this time.
Man, why's it gotta be us? Sorry, I just thought I'd put that out there.
Fair. Hey,
God fucking damn it, why has it gotta be us?
Right?
I mean,
There's
we
not
did
even anyone paying
explode
us for
that
this.
shipment of, well...
Yeah, there's all
very
those
nice.
crystals. Whatever the hell this is feels like it's not on accident. We blew up all those resonant crystals that one time on accident. And all it was a really terrible and loud and ghost-looking explosion. I don't know. I do have a question for Devi, though. We're hearing all this screaming that's still deeply unsettling. Are there, like, people reporting that at the other end of the galaxy on the net? How far is this? Maybe it's just here, and we can, like, leave and let an expert come and deal with it.
Are you tapping into the net right now?
No, I'm asking Devi if there's any reports of that.
Okay, sorry. I didn't catch you.
That's right.
Definitely not the GM there, sorry.
That's right. Hey, Devi.
Yeah, boss.
Is this localized, or is this, like, everywhere?
The answer is unsettling. It's not everywhere, but it's spreading. I don't know what's happening here, but this has been getting worse. Rapidly.
Mm-hmm. Define rapidly in, like, light years per second, maybe?
Let's see. Assuming we all stand here babbling for the next, I don't know, several hours or so, this entire sector of wild space and a good portion of the galactic core will likely be consumed by the void anomaly.
It's not great.
So in other
It's far
words,
from
by
that,
the time it gets far enough to reach someone who would actually care enough to help, it'll be too late.
And I assume a lot of people will be dead.
Yeah, I think Kerp does some mental math, and, like, it was messing with our ship when we were very, very close to it, before it even appeared. The time it would take for them to fly without warp to get there is so astronomical, it's like, yeah, no, people would get driven mad before that. Even if we assumed that Buddy McGee with the PDA had a
Psychic shield.
an exceptionally resistant mind. They wouldn't make it here in a matter of weeks, it would be a matter of months. And there's no way that they hold together for that long. Damn it to hell.
Huh.
Well, I hate to say it, but it looks like we're not left with much choice here.
Sounding just like the plot of that comic I was just reading, actually.
Hey, Loon, how exactly, like, plot of that comic?
Oh, well, I mean, I was just reading it while we were on the way here, but the first these guys, they released this comic, like, I don't even remember how long ago. It's a really old series. Some like a team of adventurers, kind of a lot like us actually, found this Eldritch horror, got rid of it, and well, the cost of all their lives, but saved the entire universe.
Not pleasant.
Yeah, it was really cool actually. But actually, strangely enough, right before we got on the ship, they just released a brand new comic about this.
No, that's why I'm very curious about this. I remember vaguely you saying something about that. How exactly?
I'm just gonna go sprint over to the stacks of comics, trip over the doorway.
Loon, you go gather the new issue of the comic for you were reading. I'm unfortunately forgetting when I named it last session. I'm very sad about this. Someone take notes. Oh, make me proud.
I did
No, Sir Heck is
not.
not here to take notes.
That's okay.
It was something about like the black tree.
The Black Mist!
Black Mist, you're
Yes!
Another
That's right. Good job, me.
glorious Victory for
So,
the Black Mist.
what was I saying? Right, yes. So, as you go to grab the Black Mist, it's called The Black Mist The Return is the new run. You find issue 1, which you got very lucky and grabbed a copy of. And you read through it, and most of it actually doesn't even cover the ending events of the original run. It sort of seems like it's cut into like an aftermath, perhaps maybe years later. You can't really tell how long, but it picks up with some random side characters and talks about how they've gone on to have families or get their lives together. A lot of them have died, stuff like that. And just at the end, one of them is sailing back out into the darkness of the void to take on a new adventure. And just as the void opens up before him with a newly developed technology, which rather than putting a ship in between the void and real space, instead just opens the portal directly into the void and allows a ship to tunnel through it, which is much faster and apparently, according to the comic, much safer. But as this portal opens up, a ship comes through. The ship of the original crew. And as this random adventurer boards the ship to see if these adventurers who, you know, in legend are rumored to have given their lives to have saved the universe from some eldritch horror, they find a single haunted crew member who immediately, upon being found, takes the survival laser pistol on the side of the person who rescued him, shoves it into the visor of their own spacesuit, and pulls the trigger twice. And then the issue ends.
Well, not very helpful, but weirdly similar. You know, maybe we record all this, and if we don't get paid for saving the galaxy, we can at least try and do that shit. Tell a comic about it.
Make a movie, even. It'll be a documentary.
I don't trust my acting skills or anyone else's here, except for maybe yours, Hal.
Come on, Kerbo, you don't act in a documentary. Hint, hint.
Yeah, sure. Well, what do you guys think? Do we walk in, see if we can turn it on with under its own power, or hope and pray I can jerry-rig something on the inside of that engine?
I mean, if we fly in, how likely is it that the ship's gonna explode?
I literally cannot answer that.
Well,
I couldn't give you odds if you gave me a month.
So what you're saying is you'll never tell her the odds.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to risk the ship as little as possible if we can.
Aww.
Yeah,
He
but
says.
the ship's but the real big guns that we built on this thing are maybe going to be useful.
But how useful are they going to be while we're inside the other ship?
So I mean, we can fly this thing inside that engine block, and maybe, I don't know, push comes to shove, that's the best place we're going to be able to obliterate this thing is by shooting it there on the inside of its most vulnerable engine bits.
I mean,
Maybe through some kind of exhaust port or something.
You know, the vulnerability of exhaust ports is greatly exaggerated. Anyways, no, if you think we can walk in there, I think maybe tighter quarters hopefully means we run into less of the screaming things, which means Tess gets to shoot them easier.
Tess's ears perk up. I get to shoot things? Hell yeah.
Well, I somehow doubt that those screaming ghostish things are only on, the platform back there. I'll bet there's a bunch on that ship if PDA guy was even remotely right about what they are.
Well, whacking the recently departed is quite rude, but if the PDA guy's right, they're probably really old, so I'm for smacking.
So you're saying they're not recently departed?
As far as I can
I'd
tell.
also risk being rude over, dying.
I mean, they did kind of rip that guy's soul apart, so...
Hey, you ever forgot the part where you had holes in you?
I mean, kind of don't remember that much about the run over to here, so...
That's pleasant. So, votes for... Debbie, I think you get a vote in this because we're kind of risking you. Votes for flying in the engine and seeing what I can figure out. And Kerp is going to raise his hand.
I don't want to get smashed again.
I don't hate that plan.
Assume,
Well, that's 3 votes.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Let's
that's
do
the
it.
plan.
Alright, well... Debbie, you want to try and take us in real gentle-like?
You got it, boss. Suit up. We'll be there soon. And you feel again the engines start to roar to life as Debbie begins to pilot the Sly Fox down towards the engine block. You go for the middle engine, as it seems to be the one that has like the most superstructure remaining here in reality. So you go to land on there, and as the mag clamps of the Sly Fox's landing gear clamp down on the superstructure, you hear a firm locking structure as the pistons hiss in. Debbie says, "I'll lower the ramp when you're ready, bosses. Be safe out there."
How's everyone feeling? Still hurting after the way station?
Feeling much better.
I have a kind of rules question for our DM.
Mm-hmm.
If I get my supplies back when we're in the ship, and it costs a supply to heal someone, can I just, keep rolling a bunch of D6s to heal people up again?
I'm going to argue that because there's enough time for you guys to travel, that you all could have taken care of any serious wounds you all have. So you can all go ahead and regain your health. It's fine.
Okay. Probably his way
Crypt
of
has
telling us
several
we're
rounds
gonna
of...
need it.
Yeah, Crypt has several rounds of what sci-fi bullshit can I do to heal you?
Solid. It's a fair game to play.
Feeling good as new, Kerp.
Alright, let's be off then.
And then I'd like to ask if I can basically get some sort of, radiation sensor off the ship without having to use my 3 supply once we're off.
Easily.
Okay. Then, yeah. Alright, well, Debbie, hopefully you can stay on our comms and use the big damn guns if we need them.
I'll stay here and do what I can. Good luck in there, bosses.
I think Loon's gonna... It's like, this is really dumb, but we're dealing with ghosty things, so Loon, pulls out, a small bag of just rock salt.
Solid.
Where do you have that? Did you have that 1 month where we had nothing but protein and nothing to season it with?
Yes, and it was very good, especially when you boiled it with stew.
I felt like I was going to eat my own tongue by the end of that. What the hell?
But hey, it was salted though. It was salted meat.
Oh, you did put some in there. I thought you were just hoarding it.
Well, I mean, I hoarded what was left.
Okay, tangents about meat aside. I'll assume you're all ready to head in.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so the ramp hisses with pressure as it slowly lowers to a cold, open void where you can easily move yourselves through the turbine fans. The scale it's almost haunting. These are multi-skyscraper sized fan blades in a ship so big you could fit 1 million of you in it, most likely, and all live at least kind of comfortably if you could all survive the void, obviously. But try to ignore the fact that you're on a ship that's bigger than just about any ship you've ever been on, probably bigger than some cities you've lived in, maybe. As you step into the cold darkness of the void, just as you find Debbie slowly slipping behind your sight into the cold night, you hear screams begin to gather, like a song, trailing you as if some etheric force is keeping its eyes on you. And with that, let's give our adventurers a quick little break, huh? As they prepare to, dare I say, guard the galaxy.
Get out.
All right,
Get
we'll be
out.
back. Goodbye, guys.
Get out. Stream's over. We're kicking out the
Over, no more
GM.
stream.
And we return. Welcome back, friends, to the conclusion of the Screaming Stars incident. The crew of the Sly Fox have chosen to make their way into the engine block of the Lady Rachel, this massive ship that has breached through reality. And now, as they land in the engine core and try to make their way towards what might be some kind of control panel to turn this ship on and get it back into the void and hopefully stop before most of reality is consumed by this void nightmare, they immediately find themselves facing monstrous screams. And so,
that's not great.
As I ready some sounds and prepare everyone for everything, hopefully it's all playing. Nothing's playing right now. Sirenscape, please.
I hear something.
I hear stuff.
I can hear stuff.
Oh, well, it's just not playing for me, I guess, for some reason. I'll reload. Don't know why it's doing that.
That's not creepy at all sounding.
That's fine. Don't worry. It should be fine. I don't know why I'm not hearing anything. That's strange.
Is Stream hearing anything?
They will not be hearing anything because they would be hearing it from me. So if I'm not hearing it, they're not hearing it. Let's try it now. Here, I'm going to press the stop button and then redo it. Alright, so everything should stop. Did everything stop for you guys?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
let's try it again.
Yeah, I hear the music.
I still don't.
Should we go back to break?
Yep, I'm going to go right back while we fix this real quick, and I'm sorry, but we'll return in just a moment. Okay, guys, bye.
Disregard everything
Just
you
take us a
just
second.
saw.
All right.
For real this time.
We're back again, for real this time. Welcome back to the conclusion of the
Back
Screaming
again, the
Stars
rebacking.
incident. Our party has
Back
landed.
Street's back.
Yes. The crew has landed on board the Lady Rachel, and they are immediately assailed by horrifying screams as all around them colors and shades begin to twist and turn in the darkness. Shapes begin to form, hands and eyes and teeth and claws. Shapes begin to form all around them. It feels as if they are, as they step into this dark void, finding themselves beset. Darlings, I'm going to start stepping between you all one at a time, and you can describe what you do as I tell you what is happening to you. So, I believe one of you has the ability to always go first in combat, yes?
Yes. Are we in combat?
We're going to be in combat right now.
Okay.
So Hal, as you are walking with the crew, your hand low on your pistol, eyes sweeping the horizon left and right, you're focusing. You hear a sound to your left, a clank of metal. You look over to your left. Another sound, like a claw scraping against hard iron. You move to your right. You turn your eyes back to the front, and there are a pair of hollow eyes in front of you. Not spectral, but a person's. As a human body starts to shamble out of the darkness. Its mouth is hanging open, and it lets out this low, droning noise. Its eyes are open sockets, pitch black, and its face is sunken and gallow, the skin hanging like it doesn't fit over the bone anymore. As it sees you, it freezes. And it starts to barrel at you in a burst of motion. But as you have shoot first, you get to act first.
Oh, hell. I draw my pistol and fire a shot.
Do the thing!
Did that go?
So,
Unless you
zombie
roll.
apocalypse. Anybody ready for that?
Why is it not rolling?
Hal shot first.
Mm-hmm.
Hal did shoot first. Except
Hal
I
did shot
can't
first.
because it's not rolling. Give me a sec. Uh-oh. Wait. That was weird. Oh no, internet. Don't
Oh,
fail
no.
me now. Oh. Okay, there we go.
Aha! Aha!
That's enough.
Ooh.
All right.
Right when he rolls.
Yeah, there we go. All right, let's do it. So, with a 10, no
Things
no
kicking
question, easily. You like as this course is like running at you, arms out, you just draw your pistol, slam a laser shot right down in the middle of his chest. It roll damage.
Dude. Three. What's a magic number?
As you roll your you draw a shot. The shot plants in the middle of this thing's chest. It keeps running at you, and it is like looking like it wants to leap at you. Just as you're looking at this thing, you hear a growl out to your right. You look over as we turn over to, let's go over to Tess next. Tess, you are immediately combat ready the moment you see this thing start lunging out at Hal and takes a shot at it. You turn over as there is a group of these same looking figures, like humans, shambling and waddling their way out, their bodies twisting and contorting in awkward ways. A group of them sees you and immediately goes to dive out at you. If you're going to shoot, then go ahead and roll the dice. Tess, dice.
Okay.
Unless you can do something else.
Sorry. So how close is it to getting to us?
There are a couple of them barreling at you. Like if you don't like you need to do some damage to these three that are coming at you right now, or they're gonna be on top of you all as a group.
All right. I'll just brace the cannon and try to blast, like right at the ground at the middle one. So
Go for it.
let's hope this works.
I'll say a 10 is definitely enough. Success.
Okay. So rolling damage is
5. You hit the ground where the middle one is, you blow it into the air, well, its upper torso, as its lower half is just vaporized in plasma. It goes sailing out, it lands on the ground, continues beginning to crawl at you. Another one, as it walks by, steps on it. You see tendrils of flesh reach up and start to wrap out and stick into the leg of this thing, as one now has another human torso attached to its leg where its foot is, and is now just shambling at you with another pair of arms and legs and a head on its foot, also clawing and creeping at you. Let's pass on over to Loon. Let's do you next.
Get the stick.
Loon, you are looking around at the amalgamation of flesh shapes that are crawling out at all of you, and you notice a couple of things. The first thing you notice is there are a group of, well, these flesh human creatures shambling their way out of the darkness on the other side towards you. In fact, one appears to be crawling its way down the wall in some awkward, very, very uneven fashion. Like it crawls a few inches, stops, crawls in another direction, randomly stops a bit. But they all seem to stop. The one up on top falls over onto the other two. They form a big, massive pile. And then the pile gets up. It's this big, giant wad of flesh with faces in different directions. It walks on 7 or 8 different amalgamated, misshapen forms of hands and feet and legs, awkwardly crawling at you like some misshapen insectoid thing. You have a chance to ask before it gets to you.
Ooh, is big, right? Is there anything that Loon can see that's kind of like not huge, but like a panel or a loose panel or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. As you look off to your left, you're next to sort of like a support beam pillar. There is a panel janking off to the side, a sharp piece of metal. You're certain you can easily rip out of the wall, no question, with your telekinesis. Easily.
Okay, so Loon's gonna like reach out a hand, like staff in the other, and just try and like with their telekinesis try to like yank it out and slam it into this ball of gross.
Please roll Z dice.
All right, do I roll a wisdom or?
Sure, why not?
Or not wisdom, willpower.
I'll take willpower. Why not? Success.
Hey.
With a slow like jangle and then a wave of force, it rips its way out of the structure and starts sailing at this creature. Roll damage for me.
Okay. I guess I can make that a regular light weapon? Question mark?
It comes out, it embeds into the side of this thing, right into like the side of, well, it's like sort of large torso bulk. And it just keeps scuttling. In fact, it picks up speed.
That's not great.
And you are hearing that call of "that's not great," Kurt. And you turn, right as this huge lump of flesh walking on different appendages pushes itself off the ground and into the air at you. Go ahead and decide what you're gonna do.
That's interesting. Just because I'm not sure about the scene, we're like in this big engine block, so they could kind of come from any direction. And we're like next to a wall.
As you pace back a little bit, though, you do back into a wall, Kurt, and you're certain it's not hull. It's to an interior. And if you want to real quick, this is not your turn, but go ahead and quickly roll me intelligence. Dex with intelligence real quick if you don't mind, Kurt. Oh, Kurt, you know.
May I say that this is tech if I'm talking about the insides of a ship? Or nah?
I would say yes, because the ship is too old for you, I'm going to say no. But I'll keep that 9,
okay.
so I got you, don't worry. So, Kurt, you're feeling around, thinking like, okay, alright. And you're thinking like, okay, this is an interior wall. Wait a minute. Okay. If there's an interior wall in the engine block, there are passageways for crew to move. If I can get through this wall, I can find my way around and maybe figure out where that panel is to activate the engines.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking
and this thing's
maybe...
coming at me.
Yeah, it's still coming at you.
This thing's...
And so what happens is, 2 things happen. The first is, you think to yourself, I have a choice. I can keep fighting this thing in front of me that's barreling at me, or I can work on trying to blow my way through this wall. I will say, when you make that call, there might be consequences. The second thing that happens is, right before you rolled, only because you rolled a 9, this thing lands right in front of you, and a hand just bats at you. You take 1 damage.
But it's still coming at me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if it's not like flying at me, I don't know that I can do the thing I wanted to, unless it's like gonna tackle me.
Oh, it's going to barrel at you. Like it's going to try to subsume you. Is the plan.
All right. So this might be more fancy than I can get away with, but can I take my hot knife, like the red hot knife, and basically try and carve like a big arc, and then get out of the way to see if this thing's momentum is just gonna bust open the side of this wall now if I weaken it?
Go for it.
And would that be agility or intelligence to cut this?
I'll take agility in this case.
Okay, that's fair. No whammies. Oh no.
Oh no.
It's whammies.
That's a big whammy.
It's very much whammies.
Kirk, you slam your heated knife into the side of this panel and try to start carving into it. And as you're getting into a good portion of it, a force slams into your back, taking both you and it through the bulkhead you were cutting into. So you're through the wall and you're into this sort of service hallway. This creature is now on top of you. Take 4 more damage.
You hear very muffled, fuck!
Kirk, you okay?
No!
We got more company, I'm guessing.
We're gonna pass it on back to Hal real quick, who still has this one thing in front of him, the one who's was screaming at you. Hal, as you're seeing these other ones come and start attacking your friends, the one in front of you stops moving for a bit. You have a chance to act before it does anything.
Okay. Do I shoot it or do I go help Kirk is the question.
That's your call.
It is my call. If it's going to stop moving, I'm going to take that opportunity to go over to Kirk and take a shot at the thing that's attacking him.
Do it. Roll the dice.
Do not roll low, it will probably hurt me. Hey!
That's a hit. As you turn your pistol and fire off 2 shots directly in Kirk's direction, it impacts and sears into the middle flesh of this thing. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Again. Sheesh.
3 damage pelts into the side of this thing, and you see it come up a little bit off of Kurt. Kurt, one of the faces that was facing at him, fades into the massive flesh, comes out of the other side, looks at you, and just screeches at you. Speaking of screeches, that one you were not worrying about, that stopped moving, from behind you, you hear this inhuman scream that echoes off of the walls, and then a chorus of screams in every direction in reply.
Great. Oh, no, we're here.
Tess, I believe we went to you next, yeah? So, Tess, as you're watching these things still continue to shamble at you, the one that's still just a normal-looking human, it's kind of still fumbling at you. The one that has another guy literally attached to his foot at this point, he's almost on top of you by now. You should do something before he gets to you.
Well, if you want to keep getting closer, clearly that just means you want another taste of the cannon. Just heft it up. You hear a revving whir as it starts to light up and glow.
You all can see the darkness briefly lit up by this flare of bright blue as Tessa's plasma cannon charges up, prepares to flare off a new supernova of energy. That is a hit! 1 shy of a crit. Go ahead and roll damage for me. So this thing is shambling up to you. You're charging this thing up, and you're like, okay, come on. And just as you see it hit like optimal charge, this thing is just about on top of you. You just jam the cannon into his chest and fire it off. This thing is blown apart. An arm goes here, a leg there, the head sprawls. The pieces that hit the ground still shamble around a little bit, but they're just impotently fumbling about in the dark. Let's move
What you're
next.
telling me is we need to light this on fire.
Can do that. We move next to Loon. Loon, I'm going to describe something very quickly to you if you don't mind. So you see that Kerp is in this service hallway with this thing still on top of him and trying to assail him. And you're probably thinking, maybe I can help him out, because that thing was attacking me at first. And off to the side, you notice as the plasma cannon flare of Petch's fire goes off, there's a long hallway down the other way. And you can't see much, but you're almost certain you saw a light at the end of it. Real far away. But you're pretty certain there's a light at the end of it.
So Tess is first gonna be like, unless I'm hallucinating again, I think there's a light at the end of that tunnel. But first, Loon's gonna just they're gonna so first so they shout that to the to everyone else, and then they're going to, with the force wall, just huck this thing off of like attempt to like huck it off of Kirk, like into the air, and then like maybe like get it to like scoop it off and like chuck it away.
Roll the dice for the force wall.
All right, we roll, please.
9 is a mixed success.
Oof.
So you manifest a force wall, Kirk. You feel a wall of pressure manifest just shy of your nose, like you can almost breathe on it. You feel your breath go back in your own face as you breathe on this thing. And then it presses upwards, and this thing is lifted up off of you, screeching the whole way and trying to clatter around this wall of force, and is then flung into the nearby wall, where it just smacks in a gross pile of flesh and bile and ichor. However, while this is happening, Loon, you don't notice one of these things grab onto you, like the side of your like I guess like your suit, and just spin you around. Like you just get whirled around as it rips at you. You kind of lose your footing and you fall a bit. But as you come to, you're hearing this screaming in your head. Not the screaming all around you. That's been going for a while now. But you're hearing this shrieking directly in your mind. It's like it's lancing at you, and it's coming from the end of that tunnel.
I think screams are supposed to be coming down from there.
We're in the void, or we're in space. There shouldn't be screams coming from anywhere. Kerp is a little mad that flesh zombies exist in the void right now, like in space. Like that shouldn't happen. Fuck this. So I'm in like this access tunnel, and there's 2 directions to go, and one's back towards the place that we landed, and the other is deeper into the ship.
Yep.
Okay. If you'll allow me, I think Kerp gets up and like leans out, like, fall back to this point if we need to. I'm gonna go find the on switch.
By yourself?
And he's going.
It's splitting up, bad idea.
Follow me in then. I think it's gonna be better to defend. And he's gonna take his drone and sort of fly it off down the hallway, at least towards the center of the ship, and probably follow it. If there's not a roll involved with that, he will take a pot shot as he does so and just hope everyone follows him.
Yeah, you can take the pot shot, that's fine.
Okay.
Big success.
Hey.
So here's what else gonna happen. So you take your shot. I'm sure you're shooting at one of the random flesh creatures.
Yeah.
You hit the one. You hit the other one that was going for Tess. You just ping it. Go ahead and roll damage for me if you'd like. It's totally fine.
Come on.
Oh, 3's all around the day. You ping a shot into the back of this thing's head. It folds in. The head folds in. It goes all the way into its chest, and you see a face manifest upside down on its back and scream at you as the arms 180 rotate around and it starts walking backwards at you.
That's gross as shit. Runs away.
That's fucking gross. Anyway, as you're following your drone down this hallway, you're recognizing it's definitely a service pathway, and it probably isn't for maintenance. So you're getting more certain that you probably found what you're looking for down this hallway. But it's as this is happening that you all get a ping from Denny. Bosses, bad news.
Is it from that
It
hallway
gets worse?
No. Well, it gets worse, but yes, it's not from the hallway. It's the anomaly. You're all
Please.
agitating it. It's speeding up. I'm getting reports from local star sectors. It doesn't sound good. You all need to move fast.
Well then.
A little preoccupied, but we'll keep that in mind.
Sorry I can't offer more help.
It's like, well,
Alright, so
I guess
let's
the new-
do the following. So, Hal, we're back to you, yes, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's do this way. I'm gonna offer you a fun little choice. So as you are seeing more and more of these creatures start to shamble down the way at you, you're looking around at this engine here. And then you recognize that you're just about on top of what looks to be part of the turbine fan for this. And you don't know a whole lot about ion turbines, but well, they're supposed to be at least semi-reactive, right? So you're thinking, maybe, just maybe, you could make a nice way for your friends to all fall back and follow Turf down the hallway. So here's what I'll say. You can take your turn normally, shoot at a couple of them, and then maybe try to get out. Or, you can try to cause a diversion by shooting for the ion turbine. Doing so will not require a roll, it'll just happen. But, there will be consequences.
No, I'm just gonna shoot him. I'm just gonna shoot at the animals.
But it's Hal's turn right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get to you.
Okay.
We're gonna pass up an opportunity for Tess to shoot things. Alright. So where are... Alright, so I know where Kerp is. Where are Loon and Tess relative to...
Tess is just behind you, not too far, maybe 10 or so feet. Loon is a little further, like to your, like, all off to your left almost, sort of like down a little further to the darkness. You can still see the colors of Loon's suit, so you know where they are, but they're just about at the edge of your, like, periphery, I would say.
Alright.
And they're all fairly close to this wall? I didn't imagine I was very
You're all
far
not far. You all could make it to the wall in just about, I'd say, like, a turn of moving in, like, more traditional game terms.
Alright. I yell to Loon and Tess, get clear, I've got an idea.
And I'll say you all both have enough time to hear that turn and start to run for that service corridor that Curtis blew away into, even if it was accidental.
So...
Kind of his plan, he just didn't mean to fall in it.
Alright. So, what's the shape of the room that we're
It's mostly rectangular from what you can tell. It's hard because the darkness is pretty far encroaching.
in? Yeah.
Right in front of you is that turbine I'm talking about. It sort of stretches up and into the actual structure of the turbine, which looms above you. But its sort of reactive drive, its heat sink, is directly in front of you. You could literally, if you wanted to, just work your hand through like one of the exhaust ports, put around in it, and still have probably a good time to get back into the corridor before it blows. Probably.
Probably. Well, if there's one thing Hal Owens is confident in, it's his speed. So after I warn them, I'll take the shot, and then immediately move to the towards the corridor.
You take the shot. You take one single laser shot directly into the heat sink. You can already see plasma start to build and bubble as the heat overcharges the resting reactive core of this turbine, and you start booking it. Just as you start hearing little small explosions going off in the distance behind you, and just as you're hitting the service corridor, an explosion racks it. You are flung into the far wall of the service corridor as the force racks you. It shreds a bit of your suit. Doesn't actually tear or void to space or anything. But in the process, you take 5 damage. And you are all now effectively in this service corridor. The 3 of you are watching as Kurt follows his drone down the hallway and is rapidly moving into the dark. You all can follow him as you allow Hal up, or help him up if you want to.
Like, doing okay? Loon's gonna take this salt bag and just like lay a quick line in front of the I guess entrance that they came through before. Like, this isn't probably gonna work, but whatever. We'll see. And then sprints off after Kerp.
All right.
Tess's turn.
Upon seeing the salt bag, Hal quips, "I hope that's not for my wounds," before following after them.
It's like, no, but you can. Here's the piece if you want to try and huck it at them. Tosses a crystal over, like a big crystal, like a big rock, like.
It's my banishing rock.
Be gone, demons.
It works sometimes. Sometimes.
So, as you're all traveling down the corridor, it grows strangely quiet. You move down this hallway where at first it was simple and straightforward, angle turn into 90-degree turn. As you start moving deeper into this, the angles start getting weird. The ship starts turning in ways it shouldn't and moving in angles it shouldn't be able to move in. You start feeling things, currents of electricity, purplish lightning, and bluish and greenish pulses of something shifting through the walls like veins and arteries. It's as you step deeper into this, as the angles turn and you recognize at some points the ship angles, the walls almost angle up, but you never have to start walking upward. At one point it almost feels like you're walking upside down. At that point you recognize you're probably not in real space anymore.
This is unsettling.
I did see light earlier. Does that count as the light at the end of the tunnel? Maybe it's good that we didn't go down that way.
Does this mean we're haunted?
I mean,
well, we do have
space is
spirits
haunted and everything is in space. Dark laughter. Wonderful. Well, I don't think any of my expertise are going to help us find this thing.
As you continue stepping down the corridor, Kerp, you're certainly certain that while this was probably a service corridor in real space, you don't know where this thing leads now that you're wherever you are. But as you step moving forward, because there's really not anywhere else to go, the walls eventually begin to widen and open up to a large corridor. And that's when things start making a little bit more sense for you, Kerp. All of you. As you find yourselves face to face with what could only be an gargantuan, archaic warp drive. It hums and soars, trickling and crackling with power. In fact, it almost looks as if it pulses itself, the skin rippling and warping as it hums with energy. But that's not what gets you. What gets you is the thing on top of it, or attached to it. It's a mound of flesh, metal, something in between those two things. It bubbles and boils, occasionally popping and seeping oil like pus, a rust red color. Faces contorted and twisted like human mouths, eternally screaming endless torment, wail out into the distance. Their open eye sockets and mouths leaking that same pus-like red. Hands, long and with too many fingers, splay and grasp out at the large walls of this chamber, fumbling and clumsy like a sick, misshapen infant. It gurgles and bubbles in the air around it. I don't think any of you understand what it is. And in fact, the more you look at it, the more you just feel wrong. Boss says a signal comes through.
Heavy?
I don't where are, but warp core? Don't know how, but flying through subways, this ship, ETA 2 minutes, losing comm, stay safe.
Can I use some tech, maybe a supply, to try and boost a signal back?
Go
I don't
for it.
even need to hear them better, just... okay. Is that gonna take a supply? Just
spend one supply and be able to jury rig some device that allows you to send a signal, a brief signal back to Debbie.
Yeah, I think this is like a quick sort of antenna-looking thing, and it's more about trying to send something back. It's like, if you find a hole in the side of the wall, stay there. That's our exit point. I don't want you putting a crystal inside the field of another crystal.
Understood. You get like a sort of very garbled response. That creature brays again. That thing makes this braying sound. And you all are faced with some eldritch horror that appears to be at the center of this thing. I won't even make you think too much about it. This is probably your best shot at doing anything about this. As you can feel that psychic emanation, that writhing of reality. It's almost as if it centers on this point.
Purple's just gonna look for some kind of command or deck, some sort of control panel.
Tess's first instinct is, I want to light this thing on fire, and I've got some like instant powder. Can we? I mean, you're the smart one, so.
Look, all I know is they told you definitely don't turn the shielding off on a crystal, never ever, and don't touch it. And vague warnings about the first accidents early on. I can't process that. We just need to turn it on, and it's likely going to get incinerated by that alone. Don't spend the time. Just help me find a way to turn this thing on so it can leave.
Kerp, you go looking for panels, buttons, something. And you're dashing around, and you see what looks like a console off to the side on a wall. Thankfully, not right next to where this thing is, because you don't want to get too close to it. And you go for that, because you're like, all right, there's got to be something here. And as you approach the button panel, in a I can't describe it as fleshy, bubbling, the panel slowly seeps into the wall. A voice rumbles across the entire cavern. Sacrifice.
This is officially your expertise, Luna. Or Lune. You say kill it with fire. I can't deal with that. Sort of still like looking at where it went into the wall, like.
I mean, it wants a sacrifice of something. Probably flesh. Probably a life. Maybe a soul.
I don't really give a damn what it wants.
Fire
We're
it is
trying
then.
to get it away from us.
Fire it is then. And Lune's gonna take a.
Huh?
If you're not gonna stop them.
Well, I do have a question of maybe something I can roll of like, if I don't have access to a control panel, is there some kind of physical reaction with a crystal or just even the impulse drives that I could do from here to get this thing to start moving? Or is this all just not mechanically making sense because it's probably not?
Well, it's a lot of it makes no sense. You're just like, okay, the walls are flesh, the metal's flesh. I'm confused. I hate it. But then you're thinking, wait a minute. We're in the warp core, as in the thing that enables a ship to go into and or between / remain in, the space between the void and reality. I don't know if this thing's functional, damaged, unshielded, or what the fuck. But if this thing cracks or blows, there's only really two possibilities for a ship that no longer has a functioning warp drive but isn't in reality. It gets violently booted back into reality, or it collapses into nothing.
Yeah, okay, fire's a good idea. I have a slightly altered version of that. And Kirk's going to use another supply and encourage other people to do so. And he has, I'm going to say like a specialized explosive, like a shaped charge that's meant for like obliterating parts of a ship. It's like, look, I don't want to get close to that thing, but if we put enough explosives on that crystal and we blow it to high heaven, it should stop being in two places at once.
For me, Lune's gonna pull out.
This is the first time I'm going to say it, but physics is haunted, so I have no idea. Sorry.
Lune's also gonna use this supply and just pull out another. You're not sure where Lune got it from. It's probably the same place they put their rock crystal salt things. But yeah, there's a there's a bomb.
Wait, did someone say bombs? I have some. That's just like pulls out some bombs from her supply pack.
So,
Never know when you're gonna need a small explosive.
you jury rig your
I like how we
explosives.
independently are like explosives. Yep.
So,
I mean, doesn't help someone hand from her.
Fair.
fair enough. So you all
You did a little
managed
stupid.
to jury rig up your explosives together into one large shaped charge bundle you're pretty certain will blow some part of this thing to high hell when you trigger it. You go to... Where do you want to place the shaped charge? Just in the room? On the warp drive?
Yeah, I think Kerp kind of looks to Lune. It's like, I know something real delicate is hard to do, but can you, like, telekinesis right onto the side of that crystal? Hopefully on the other side from the horrible flesh thing?
I could try, but this stuff's pretty... Like, this stuff's hard. Is it gonna survive if I accidentally drop it?
Oh, we won't go off on accident. I'm more worried about it not sticking on. And he, like, sort of demonstrates you have to, like... There's several flaps you have to open. It'll adhesive to something. Like, you need to play it with a certain amount of force, and I just don't think any of us should touch it.
While you are figuring this out, you guys get a much clearer ping. Hey bosses, figure the signal out. Don't ask how I managed to attune my sensors to the void. It was a process. Speaking of which,
Record that
you're in
process.
the void.
We knew that.
Yeah,
kinda figured that out.
figured.
Gets worse.
Mm.
I'm flying through the superstructure of this engine block. I don't know which of you blew that reactor shaft, but these things not moving anytime soon under natural force.
Yeah, we found a plan B.
Gets worse.
Oh, goody.
The warp drive you're in, it's it's not really in reality at all. So I don't, well, I don't know how I'm gonna get in there to get to you guys.
We're hoping we can run out back the other way. That tunnel should end at least somewhere near the end of this whole turbine situation. If we have to blow another hole out the back and float in space for you to grab us, that's better than being in here.
Alright, well I wouldn't blow any holes while you're in there because you're not in our universe. So hold tight on that idea for now, but I'll stand by. Good luck. And thus, I
Much
believe
like luck.
the plan is now for Loon to try to telekinesis the bomb over to the side of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, so long as it can have like a timer, and we set it for like, how long were we running, do you think? Down this hallway? 2-3 minutes. So we set this for, let's be generous and say like 5 to 8 minutes and then run the other way. Back the way we came. Maybe it'll work? What y'all think? Yeah.
Desperate times, as they say.
I mean, if it explodes while we're still there, at least we won't have to worry about the screaming flesh monsters, so...
Yeah. Crypt definitely has like a gun ready. He's like, let's just be prepared for this thing to not like us trying to obliterate it.
Loon, when you're ready to telekinesis, please roll the dice.
Okay. Loon's also gonna give it an extra, I guess, so instead of just telekinesing it, Loon's also actually gonna try and like throw it around a little bit. So use a little bit of athletics to like throw it like curveball. So like and then try to finesse it in.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So we're gonna willpower this thing.
Great.
Oh.
That is
That's not
actually
great. Can
perfect
I?
for what I need.
Okay.
Wait, can you is
Do you
there
have a
any
skill
way
you can apply?
re-roll it?
Well, I was gonna apply athletics to like re-roll a number.
You know what?
Yeah,
Sure,
you can
why
do
not?
that.
I'll take it.
You can reroll the 1 and it might
That's better.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's
That's
success.
better. It's a success.
Nice.
So, Loon, you are moving this thing around, trying to finesse it into the right spot. Your hold on your power, which you're keeping very delicately, slips a bit. It begins to drop, and you're like, oh no! A mass of fleshy tendrils reaches out and wraps itself around the bomb and pulls it, where it latches directly onto the side of the warp drive and then pulls itself inside of it.
Can I still get a signal into that to hit the start button?
Yep. But as you are doing that, as you're thinking like, oh, okay, did that thing just take the bomb into itself?
Sacrifice accepted?
You hear a voice. Death. One last sacrifice. And you all turn, or you don't have to turn, but you can hear this weird, awkward bubbling that sounds like a mix of flesh shifting and metal crunching. As the passageway behind you begins to close.
Run.
Oh yeah. Fuck your sacrifice.
Alright, who's the slowest?
Well, no, I think Kerp may use his last supply because healing people means nothing if they're already dead. Basically, I'm imagining like a pneumatic jack that he would just hand off to Hal, the fastest one, really quick, and be like, "Don't let it close," as they're running up.
So, which of you is putting the jack in the door?
Yes, I am.
I assume Hal is the fastest.
nominated.
Just whoever is running past Kerp, because Kerp is not super fast.
All right. Well, then Hal. Well, actually, no. I need you all to roll the dice. And I'm gonna go ahead and say
Agility, I
this
assume?
has to be agility. Yeah.
Okay. Is this
Okay
like...
with that? Ah, shit.
I am going to use athletics to
Same.
re-roll that
Oh
one.
no,
Oh, no.
I don't have that option.
I have athletics,
I have sneak, if that counts for
although I don't really need to use it.
Okay, so I didn't get an 8. I actually got a 12.
Much better.
Wow. You actually
All
got
right.
a critical
Or sorry, a
success.
13. I got
So-
a crit.
So, okay. Here's what happens. And Hal, you got a 9.
Yeah.
Kirk,
If
you
I
got a
say
7.
I'm stealthily installing the jack,
No.
can I use me?
All right.
Tess
So
is just like sprinting past Hal, and she just takes the jack out of his hand.
So here's what I'm gonna say. But here's what happens. Tess, you run up, you take the jack out of Hal's hands, and you jam it into the door. So Tess, you are the one holding up the jack now, yes, to make sure the jack stays in
Yes.
the door. All right.
Yes.
In that case, this is what's gonna happen. Everyone begins to run through. Loon makes it through perfectly fine. As you're all running, you see tendrils begin to lash out from this thing, clearly intending to encircle you all and pull you back in so that you die with this thing. One last sacrifice. But as you're running, Loon makes it through perfectly fine. Kerp and Hal are on their way, and just as they're at the doorway, and Tess, this jack is struggling because this door is bubbling around you to the point where you can now feel part of this flesh metal beginning to ooze around and begin to pull down on you. Both of them trip over. And so here's what happens. A choice can be made here. What can happen is, Kerp, as the trigger man, you can willingly hold the trigger while y'all try to figure this out. Doing so allows one more roll of dice, contested with a roll of dice on my part. If you beat me, you get the best possible outcome. If you don't, things get bad. That's the first choice. Assuming you don't want to make that choice, the other person who can choose is Tess, which is that you can grab with your two hands Hal and Kerp and fling them through the doorway as it begins to close on you. Whichever of you makes the call first is the call we're going to go with.
I don't know. I imagine Kerp has an engineer's standpoint on basically everything of fix the most things you can physically possible. I think I'd like the flavor of like literally Kerp's foot sunk into the ground since it's made of metal. He'd probably just grab a data pad, just his like data pad that has all this stuff on it, slam it into Hal's side and be like, "Get out." And he's gonna scramble to try and remove his own leg, but he assumes he's not gonna make it.
Is everyone okay with this call?
I have specifically said he's loosening his leg in case, Tess, you want to be like, nah, go and huck him in, and I just like the image of Kerp is missing a leg as he leaves.
So then I guess the last call goes to Tess. Do you grab the Kerp, who is struggling with trying to loosen his own leg, and throw him out? Or do you allow him to make that final call as you leave?
As the Jack is just like struggling to hold the door open, Tess is just gonna punch both of her fists just like into the metal closing around her, so she can just directly try and hold it back, just to buy more time for him to get himself off.
Tess, you slam your claws, dig them into this metal, and begin to brace as the metal slowly begins to try and lower down on you. It starts to feel strange as even the metal below you begins to mold and sink around your feet. Kerp, you finally, as you're working on it, get that leg off. You finally snap it off, and you start hobbling through the way. And as you're just about to like make your way over, Tessa's tail just kind of comes up and whops you and sends you through the remainder of the door. Just as the jack snaps, and the last thing you all see as you all begin to make your way down the corridor is a mass of tendrils wrap around Tessa's torso and pull her in towards the middle. You all scramble down the doorway, or down the hallway. The angles appear to be rapidly trying to right themselves, as if whatever force is keeping this place weird isn't holding itself up anymore. Don't worry, I'll come right back to you, baby.
Okay.
I got you, baby. Don't worry.
Uh-huh.
You all come to the ship, or you all come out to the you eventually make it to the point where the angles start feeling normalized again, and you finally come back to the big blast hole where Kerp and the flesh creature went through the bulkhead. And right at the crest of it, engines powered up and ramped down, is the Sly Fox. The three of you, I assume, run up onto the ramp, which closes itself behind you. And as the engines begin to whir up, sorry, actually the ramp doesn't close, the ramp is still down, but the engines are whirring up. Debbie's voice chimes in real quick. Tess?
Grip was going to try and contact her for a final goodbye, I guess, with his like enhanced radio.
It comes through crystal clear. And let's quickly, if you will, cut back into our dear fox friend right now.
So from being jammed in the metal, tendrils are coming at Tess to pull her in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Why do I get myself into these situations? She's just gonna brace and just like her fur is standing on end, just like she can feel that like she's very likely going to die momentarily. But she's gonna try one thing to see if it'll work.
What you got?
She pulls at her fists that are just like embedded in the metal walls, and just her wrists just start to like bend and pull, and then she's basically trying to just rip her own hands off so she can get out of here.
Oh.
You want to use the +2 to, or that enhanced sugar gave you?
Yeah, go ahead and roll dice for me.
Although he already rolled a
You already did
10.
roll a 10.
Oh.
He already rolled a 10.
So take the +2 from chat, and that so Tess, you are ripping at your own wrists, trying to see if you can just break one off. And they're snapping, but the metal is like warping itself around to the point where even once you snap your right wrist, the metal just consumes the whole wrist and begins to just like hold you there. You snap even harder and you pull your left hand free without breaking it. As these tentacles try to go and wrap around you, you just slash at them. Look up at the hand that's now consumed in metal, and you recognize there's really only one way out of here. And with a solid swipe of the claw, you lop off your own right arm, or right hand. Arm, hand, whatever you feel like is cooler, I don't know.
Well, we're going with the arm, because we gotta cut it off lower than the metal, because it's not gonna cut through the metal.
And as you're, so that happens, and Tess, you hear this thing give one last angry rumble as you start to limp away. And as you're all attuning your signals to hear, give Tess one last goodbye, you're all looking as limping down the hallway, clutching a bloody right stump, is Tess.
What the hell?
Yes.
You're
I think Kerp quickly slaps basically a peg leg instead of like an actual articulated foot on the left one that is like missing, and just like hobbles over with whatever blood sealing arm thing he can manage. Just the
Like,
first thing he
Loon's just
grabs.
Sorry, if you're like not to interrupt, but like Loon's just gonna like telekinesis, just like doesn't even care. Is just going to yank Tess close, like pull in as fast as possible. It's just like, I don't care if this hurts or if it's gonna be bad. Kirk is good at his job. We're just going to yank. Like,
Fair enough.
Then I think the last thing is like, because this was not coordinated, Tess basically falls on top of Kerp.
Yep. The last thing the scene will basically end on is as you're all somewhere between horrified, exhausted, and relieved that your friend is alive. The last scene we end on, just as the ship rumbles to life, is Tess and Kerp colliding and toppling over in a mess of fur and clothing and everything as Devi closes the ramp and the ship powers itself back into the void, leaving behind it the distant figure of the Lady Rachel. Just as Kerp, you pressed that final button, which actually got pressed in the collapse. You actually accidentally pressed the trigger button in the crumble. You all see the ship rumble and shake, and then just bit by metal bit, literally fold in on itself until it is gone. And just as it disappears, the haze of void colors and the screaming finally settle. And you are all left to ply your way back to another adventure. Though, I imagine you are ineffably changed from what you have experienced.
Some of us more physically than others.
With that, in the interest of time, I believe we will draw the Screaming Stars incident to a close. How are we feeling, folks?
Well, about that vacation.
about those beaches.
Oh yeah, the hot geyser planet is waiting for you all. You all have earned it, no question. I don't know if you're gonna like avoid void travel for the next like 3 months. Just
we'll
just fly sublight.
I'm just gonna say to Kerps, like right before she's gonna pass out, just like, you owe me a cool robot arm.
I'm gonna make you the coolest fucking robot arm ever.
The coolest arm, the coolest robot arm to ever robot arm. Okay.
You can have razor hot claws so you can rip through people's heads. It'll be great.
We're here for it.
Like,
Well,
let's not void travel ever again. We're done.
Only sublight travel from now on.
Stasis pods are where it's at.
We're upgrading, guys.
You know?
What do we beat our next mission? 37 light years. See you guys in the next couple millennia. Any case, well, if there's nothing else for us to meme through, let's draw this to a close. Like I've said, folks, I've been your game maestro for the duration of the stream. I have with me the crew of the Sly Fox, who should one last time tell the crew and the audience who they are, who you've played today, where you can be found on the interwebs, and what things you have coming up, so we can make our way out of here for the night. Dan, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hi. I've been Land the Dan, playing Hal Owens, the intrepid, sharpshooting, ship-flying outlaw of the group. You can follow me on Twitter at Land the Dan, and if you want to see more of me for some reason, I will be back here in probably about 2 weeks on Saturday playing our D&D campaign, The Seven Sons, where in true Halloween fashion, I am a possessed suit of armor.
Well, Spree, it's always good to have you on stream. I'm glad to actually have you here for this. Take it away, love.
I am
I
Spree.
feel like we should roll a deception check for that one after all the furry nonsense.
Oh, stop. He's fine.
I am Spree. I am the resident furry. If I'm in a campaign, I'm probably finding some way to force Foxy to have me be a furry.
He says force, but I just always say, like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever.
Just like, fine, if it'll get you to play, then
Honestly,
yes.
that's really all it is. Just like, if I get you to play, shut the fuck up, sure, whatever.
Yeah. And then he egregiously injures me a lot of the time.
Oh, just this time, you're fine.
This time it was yourself.
Hey, it wanted a sacrifice.
This
I
time
got
he
a
gave you
discount.
voice.
Discount.
Took my leg too.
Well, this is true.
Take your leg
Hey, it
out.
only cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah, just like you know.
That's
Alpha.
it. That's the best we're getting out of this night, alright? That's the best we're getting tonight. That's it, guys. That's
Oh,
that's
it
it. That's the
cost you your
culminating
life,
joke.
and you got that for free.
Alright, fucking, yeah, Spree, do your finale if you want to, your outro. You done? Is that it for you?
Mhm. Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, you're not in anything. We'll get you in more things though. We'll see. Maybe I'll get you in my upcoming thing we were
You'll
talking
drag
about.
me
over.
kicking and screaming into more things.
Maybe I'll get you into the thing we're talking about. Who knows?
Maybe
Whatever the
after.
case. Michelle, do the thing.
Nah. Hey, Michelle, played Loon Heart today. Our kind of dumb but also kind of very magical psychic.
It's a kind of magic.
Merp.
She's
If you want to
dumb,
see
it
me,
must be magic.
if you want to see me here, well, actually, that's probably the only place you can see me here because I don't social media. Let's see, Seven
After
Sons.
projecting into your dreams, that's the only place.
Maybe. You can find me here also with Dan and the most of this crew here, for Seven Sons, where I play Midstone Quaddle, our Quaddlefolk wizard. That one. You can also find me here at some point. I will figure out a date for our session 2 of A Blade's Will Steel.
It's the 11th, Veterans Day.
Got it.
We talked about that already.
Professional organization.
We got it. Don't worry. Be here
So,
2 weeks. It's gonna be fire. And I guess that leaves us last with Tate.
Hello, Internet. I'm Tate Washburn. I've been playing Kirpus Deferned, the cyborg engineer who, yeah, is definitely going to make Tess just the coolest fucking robot arm ever. You can definitely find me at my Twitter at kinda_writing. Mostly it's memes and tabletop and me being tired and sarcastic a lot. I am also in Seven Sons. I play Wolf, the shifter barbarian. And yeah, you should definitely also follow the Twitter account for this place, at Neon Lights Our Play, because that's where we're going to announce all our cool stuff that we do, including the Blade's Will things, including our next 2 campaigns that are coming up, all that good stuff, and any other one-shots that we do like this, because this is real fun.
Next 2, next 3, who knows? I keep reading books I like and wanting to play games I want to play, so who knows? Whatever the case. Folks, I've been Young Foxy, a.k.a. Big Foxy. Also
Wait, I thought
known as
Tate was
your...
going last.
Oh, fair enough. Current
We're
only
out of
Karen
time.
Fox. I gotta get out of here. And you can find me on Twitter sphere at Big Foxy. That's BIG_FOXXII. I don't go right wingers. I slay fascists. I have a good time doing it. You should come hang out with me. like I said, hang out with us here. This is the biggest place where I'm around. Other than that, I'm sometimes over on Critical Misses. I'm occasionally over on TPK Roleplay. I do some other stuff other places. But stay tuned here, and more specifically, if you want to hop in whenever I randomly get an idea, like, hey guys, let's play Offworlders for a Halloween one-shot, then you should hop in our Discord and become a player so that you can get into all of our madness one-shots, and also possibly future campaigns, because I have ideas. In any case.
So many ideas.
So many ideas. In any case, we're done here. I'm going to throw our raid over to the incomparable Nat 30s, if that's cool with everybody, because the Nat 30s is live. They're playing some tabletop RPGs. It's looking like they too are keeping with the late Halloween theme. So from one late Halloween one shot to another late Halloween theme tabletop RPG game. We're going to keep spreading the Halloween cheer around to the Nat 30s. Tell them we love them. Let them know the space is haunted and that we're happy to see them.
Yes.
Take care. Have a wonderful time.
Like your hair.
And
bye-bye now.
Good
time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.